Welcome or welcome back to day 3 of our journey on chess.com, where we are trying to get to 1500 ELO. So without further ado, let's jump into the browser and look for a game. Yesterday we managed to win our game and get to 1198 ELO, and today I see our opponent has an incredibly high ELO of 1340, so this might prove to be a difficult challenge for us. He is by far our highest rated opponent by like 300 points so far. We are responding with the Sicilian defense and going for an open Sicilian here, it seems. We'll be moving into what's called a Najdorf, and I'm expecting this move, after which we will play this. In this position, I'm aware there are like 10 or 12 moves or something that white can play, but he immediately blunders, it seems. This is probably a bad move, but I'll have to look at it closely here, it seems, because I have never seen this move before. I think it just loses his bishop, but there might be a tactical idea to it, because I have never seen anyone play in this way before, but because he seems to have known the Najdorf defense to have played to this position. So is this a trap? Let's try to get a look at this, and I can't really see much of anything really. So if we play here, what's he got in response? He can't really take anything. If he moves here, for example, we take his knight, he takes with his queen and pressures our knight, but we can probably move our bishop, so I think this is probably just a free piece. As long as I didn't overlook anything, of course. So let's have a look here and see what our opponent's gonna play. So our opponent is apparently disconnected right now. Luckily he reconnected, so we might have a game on our hands. We capture like this, and let's have a look at how this plays out. I think we can just take his queen probably, after which we can try to simplify the position. I think we will do this actually, because it's probably going to make it easier for us to play. He will get this powerful rook aiming down here, but he cannot play with one rook alone, and it's difficult to involve his other pieces. We'll just capture his stuff and hopefully just get a completely winning position here. I guess we will be playing like this. He cannot get an infiltrate here with his rook, as this is covered. So we go like this and castle, and I think we should be safe in this position. We might have had this move as well, but right now we probably just want to be careful and play solidly to just solidify our piece advantage. So our opponent is thinking, and I think he's probably going to move his bishop to some square along this diagonal, and then castle to try to create some counterplay. He might try to pressure this pawn, after which we would probably move this knight out and get our rooks connected after castling. Okay, so he moves in here for this move, it seems like. Do we have to respond to this immediately? It is kind of an awkward move, but if we move here and he goes down, we can just threaten the rook trade, I think, because from this square he could move here, 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 and here. And I don't really think he's got a threat on any of those moves, so I think we just move up here and develop. If he goes here, we just move for the rook trade as planned. Perfect. This is looking like a decent position so far. And if he doesn't take here, then we take him and deny him any possibility of castling. So I'm kind of expecting him to play this move, simply because it would avoid the immediate rook trade, but we would have this move in response, which would kill him entirely. So his position is probably close to completely lost, but he might have some tactical idea unless we get our king to safety soon. So he plays his knight backwards, looking to capture here probably, although we got it covered. We'll move like this, as we mentioned, deny him any castling opportunities, and then we castle our own king. This is looking like a juicy square for forking him, but we probably want to involve our other pieces in the game first. Let's pin this bishop, and we'll look for this move as we mentioned before. He will probably move his king to avoid losing his bishop, but he might play other moves as well, in which case we will probably have a decisive advantage. This move, he cannot take with the bishop because it's pinned, and he cannot take with the rook because he loses it and cannot recapture. So we'll try going like this. I looked and noticed our bishop is defended, of course. So if we take him here, we do not lose our own bishop. We take like this and see what happens. We are currently up an overwhelming amount of material, but we still have to be careful. Oh, our opponent actually resigned. Well, that's our quickest game so far in this journey to 1500 ELO. So let's go for a quick game review then and see how we or our opponent could improve from this game. Okay, so we actually played with a whooping 95.8 accuracy, which is one of the highest accuracies I've seen in a very long time. Probably because the game was so short and he made some more obvious blunders. And our opponent, he played with a 77.2% accuracy. I see he lost a lot of rating, which probably means the account is quite new, so he might have probably been a bit overrated, but it's difficult to tell. He might have just had a bad game. So let's get into the analysis and look through our moves. He played 1e4 and we played into a Najdorf. This is all theory. And here he made a critical error, his first blunder of the game. We discussed the option of this possibly being an opening trap, and typically speaking I like to spend a bit of time in this kind of position. Although this looks like a free piece straight off the bat, it might be scary to play the move immediately. So here we took some time and couldn't really identify any tactical ways to get an advantage from him here or trap us in any sense. So we played this move, which was the best move, and he took with his bishop. we took like this, and he moved his knight, and we traded down to make the game easier. Apparently it was slightly more accurate to move our bishop here, but I thought it's probably a good idea to just get pieces off the board to make the conversion easier. We took and he took, and we moved our bishop out. Here I see the move I mentioned, the more adventurous move. Out here with our bishop was better, but as I mentioned as well, it was probably just a good idea to play as safely as possible here. He moved his knight to the end of the board, edge rather, and we avoided having to move our rook to a7 by moving our knight up. Apparently this was slightly better. I don't really know why, because it defends the pawn either way, but sometimes computer moves and distinctions are kind of difficult or bizarre to try to comprehend. We move up and he moves in for the infiltration, and we move our rook over here. He moves his knight back, and we take to prevent him from castling, and then we castle ourselves. This move was slightly better according to the evaluation, just targeting this weakness, but I think in this kind of a position, when we have such an overwhelming advantage, we should probably just ensure our safety first, so we have zero risk in the position. We castle, he moves out with his bishop, and we pin his bishop. And here he seems to have overlooked a tactical play, which was he could not recapture with his bishop after we took here, and we won the game through resignation. So this brings us up to an ELO of 1250, which brings us 250 points away from reaching the goal of this journey, which has gone really well and quickly so far. So I hope to see you all throughout the rest of the journey, and I thank you all for watching so far. Bye bye.